The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, rel-mar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And good evening, one and all, and welcome to the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction, and fiction is truly reality. And the X Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern right here on the X Zone Broadcast Network, iHeartRadio, Mutual Broadcast Network, and Talkstar Radio Network. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone at xzoneradiotv.com. And for all the programming we have available for you, 24/7, 365, visit www.xzbn.net. This hour, my favorite subject, angels. And joining me is Lucinda Gabriel, a civil engineer by profession, who decided to follow her soul's calling to write, teach, and inspire. Now a best-selling author, speaker, and respected medium, she is also a certified Reiki Master. She studied angel therapy with the best-selling author Doreen Virtue, as well as Advanced Mediumship with the renowned medium Lisa Williams. She has 3 books published in French. Her best-selling book, How to Talk to Angels, has recently been published in English. For more information about Lucinda, visit her website at lucindagabriel.com. And Lucinda, welcome back to the X Zone. Great having you with us again.
Well, thank you, Rob, for having me. It's my pleasure.
My gosh, you have now 3 books. Your book, How to Talk to Angels, is now being translated into English. Where do you find the time? I mean, besides being a professional civil engineer, you're doing everything else. How do you do it?
I'm no longer working as an engineer. I left my government job 4 years ago, Rob.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I've been doing this full time for the last 4 years. And so traveling a lot, teaching a lot. And I'm just starting to get more online. So I'm setting up some online courses.
Excellent.
So, yeah, it's very exciting.
Where do you find your expertise is most being called by the public? Is it with Reiki? Is it with angels? Is it as a medium, or all 3?
I would say mostly with angels. I don't really do a whole lot with Reiki anymore. I was teaching for a long time. I taught Reiki for about 10 years.
Yes.
And I would say for the last 4 years, I've been mostly focused on angels and teaching other people how to connect with their own angels and also how to do angel readings. So that seems to be what most people want to know.
Now, let me ask you this question for the listeners who may be joining us for the first time, as our networks have grown since you and I were last together. How would you describe, or what would you say the angels are?
That's an excellent question. To me, the angels are messengers of God. I believe that God, you can call it God, universe, yes. Everybody might have their own name for it, but we have these helpers that are with us. So we have angels, we have guides, we have what I call an entourage. We're really not alone. And this entourage is really there helping us on our path. And angels are just like a part of that entourage that we have with us. And to me, the angels bring us resources. Like each one of these people or spirits that we have in our entourage has their own specific purpose. Like guides guide us on our path. And angels bring us things that we need, like resources. And so there's also like ascended masters, there's archangels. So depending on what we need, what our wants are, we ask different ones. Like we can always, to me, I always ask God anyway.
Sure.
And I know that God is going to answer me through the angels. So that's why I believe they're there. They're like messengers, and they bring us guidance.
How does one establish the relationship with angels? Because, not everybody has had the opportunity to actually have interactions with an angel. In fact, I would say most of the people, are on the borderline whether or not they believe in angels or not. So how do those who really want to have a relationship with angels, how do they get one?
Well, I think that's another excellent question because, the people that read my book, they will understand that. And that's why I wrote the book, because, between my like 20s, early 20s and mid 30s, I felt that there was something greater than me that was guiding me in my life. Like I always was at the right place at the right time. I could see the synchronicity.
Big word, yeah.
Yes. And like this, it was very big there in my life. And so, like if I was stuck somewhere in the fog for 4 days, I knew in my heart that God kept me there for something. There was something I needed to discover, figure out, or pick up, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I could see like there was something magical at play in my life. And there were times where I heard voices, I saw visions, and not big things, like just little things. I heard a voice in my head saying one day, wouldn't you like to go to university? And it was just kind of like most people would think, well, that was just a thought. But it was like very clear to me. Like it was a very clear thought, not something that I was thinking, because it was like a proposal, a question that it was asking me. And so all these things happen until like one day, probably I was 33, something like that. And I was having a hard time, and I was praying to God, and I said to God, look, there's got to be more to life than this.
Yes.
So, dark night of the soul kind of thing. And that's when I discovered Doreen Virtue. And I went to study with her, and everything fell into place. And when I learned about the angels, well, that's when I understood that all my life, all these little things that were happening, the synchronicities, the messages that I was getting, the little visions or prompts that I had, like I knew, for example, I was meant to go to university. Like everything fell into place for me to be there. So all these things I understood were the angels guiding me on my path. So I believe that everybody is experiencing this. They just don't recognize it for what it is. They don't know what it is. And what I found really amazing was that when people started reading my book, and like even close friends of mine that have never thought about angels, and they only read the book to please me, because like they know me. So they read the book, and guys, that I'm talking about. And when they started reading the book, they texted me or called me and said, wow, I've lived this. The angels have been with me too, because I've experienced what you were talking about. And so it made them realize that the angels have always been there with them.
Have you ever seen an angel?
I can't say that I have, not physically with my, like I would see you, for example, or I would see another person. It's like an image that I have in my head.
Right.
And so if I was doing a reading with you and, my eyes open or closed, I would have a vision of what your angel would look like. Or does look like. So that's the way it works for me. But I know people that have seen them. And, I have a lady working with me right now, actually, on my 4th book in French. And so she studied with me, but she saw angels like since she was like 3 and 4 years old. And she could really see them like she sees me and you.
Right.
And she paints them, and she's like an amazing painter as well. So, but, like, those people are extremely rare. So even though I haven't seen them like that, it doesn't take away from my faith, my belief in them. Like I know they exist. I've had so much proof. And, I have to tell you a wonderful story. The last time I was on, a year ago, one of your listeners contacted me afterwards and told me that, he heard me on your radio show. And basically he was saying that, he was atheist, didn't believe in anything. And he was just like, listening to your show, kind of like, trying to figure out what's out there.
Sure.
And he was very intrigued by our interview. So he bought my book.
Excellent.
And in the beginning of the book, I tell people, like, just ask the angels to say, look, if you really, really, really exist, like Lucinda says, show me a sign. And you can ask for something specific, or you could just say, show me a sign. So he did that, and immediately he received an email, like within a couple hours or something, and it was his aunt that sent him an email. And there was a song attached about the angels. So,
wow.
Like, he knew, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, we never talked about angels before, and all of a sudden there's this email talking about angels. So anyway, that's really the way it works. If people just ask for a sign, say, look, if you're really, really here. Somebody wrote me yesterday, actually, and a lady, and she said that she asked her angel. She said, look, if you're really, really there, it seems to me, I'd really like a sign. And if you could show me like a big pile of feathers, she said. I would really believe if you showed me a big pile of feathers.
All right, we're going to have to take a little bit of a cliffhanger here because I have to go for my first break. Lucinda Gabriel is our special guest. We're talking about hours, and Lucinda is the author of How to Talk to Angels. Her website is lucindagabriel.com. And we'll both be back as we finish off the cliffhanger of the amount of feathers. I'm Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. Don't go away. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone broadcast network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Gwilda Wiyaka's latest book, The Science of Magic, Book of Mysteries, Volume 1, is the first book in a series based on her writings that open every episode of the Science of Magic radio show. Drawing on the subject matter of each guest, and armed with over 40 years' experience in shamanism, 35 years in alternative health, and degrees in psychology and religious studies, Gwilda introduces relevant and leading-edge information that supports spiritual evolution and personal empowerment. Rich with wisdom and inspirational quotes packaged in digestible segments, this is a book that will pull you from cover to cover. It will also serve as a daily inspirational reading for years to come. The Science of Magic Book of Mysteries, Volume 1 is available at our website, tsompublications.com, amazon.com, and wherever fine books are sold. Back in Victorian England, a famous theologian posed a perplexing riddle. Why are the two top personalities in the Bible tagged with the numbers 7 and 11? Academics agree the answer is found in the stunning discovery of a hitherto secret Bible structure explained in a new book called The Genesis Grid. The discovery is so simple that preschool children could illustrate it. Certain claims are hugely controversial and may offend some, but at the X Zone, we've studied this awesome new book and agree with one expert, and I quote, "These discoveries appear to be beyond coincidence." So who or what hid this wonderful pattern in the Bible, and what might they do next? Find out more, X Zone Nation, and read reviews on www.genesisgrid.co.uk. That's www.genesisgrid.co.uk. Welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. My special guest from La Belle Province is a good friend that we've had on the show before. Her name is Lucinda Gabriel, and we're talking about angels this hour, my favorite topic, because I believe in angels. Having been a first responder in the police force and, working with firefighters and paramedics, there have been many things that I have been witness to that cannot be explained except for one very simple reason. Angels, guardian angels. They're with us. There is no doubt in my mind. And it's so great for me to have Lucinda with me to share these stories. Lucinda, before we went to the break, we were talking about this lady who asked for a sign, something to do with feathers.
Yes. This lady studied with me, and so she works with angels. But, sometimes we want to have more proof. We're like that sometimes. And so she was saying to the angel, she's like, I really want to, for you to confirm that you're with me. So she said, show me like a pile of feathers, and then I'll believe,
Right.
So she went to bed, and she woke up the next morning, and her bed was covered in feathers. And what happened was she had bought some feathers, and she was making bookmarks with them.
Yes.
And her cat, during the night, got into the feathers and had brought these feathers all onto her bed. So when she woke up in the morning, her bed was just full of this feathers that she had. And so she started laughing because, there was her sign. That's what she asked for. And even though it was the cat that brought them, probably, it's still the sign that she asked for.
What has been the most prophetic story that you've heard? A story that has touched your heart after someone has read your book, an angel story?
Wow, that's an excellent question. I'd have to go back to your listener last year. That's one of the ones that sticks out the most with me, because, like I said, he was an atheist. He didn't even know about angels. Didn't think about it, and all of a sudden, he got this email from his aunt with a song about angels, and then after that, he started talking to them and asking them for guidance, and so he started to get some messages, some ideas really that were coming to him. So he called me for a reading.
Yes. And
we had a lovely reading. And I said to him, you're not happy with your work. And I said, you're supposed to be doing something else. And I was getting it was about music. And so the angels were saying, just do it. But the poor guy was working like 40, 50 hours a week and so tired. By the time he got home, he didn't have any inspiration left. He couldn't write a song after all that work. So anyway, the angels gave him some wonderful ideas about, just leaving the job, go work in a bar, make some good tip money, and you'll make as much in a few days as you would in a week at your regular job. And so he called me up one day and he told me, he said, I just had to call you. He said, I just left my job. He was so excited. And he said he got in his car, and right after he gave his notice, and he turned on the radio, and there was a song, and the song was saying, don't worry, we're with you. And he just filled up, he just knew in his heart that he was being guided. And for me, coming from a man especially, because, most people that follow me or read my books are women, and women are really open to this. So for this guy to go from being atheist to discovering the angels, and within a couple of months, having the courage to leave his job and transform his life and follow his passion, to me, that was just phenomenal.
Are you finding that there are more and more men who are sharing the stories with you? Because, we get told that this is the new age, the dawning of the new age, that their hearts are going to be opening. And, I've never thought of anything wrong with a man showing his affection. My kids told me that I always wear my heart on my sleeve, and I take that as a great compliment. So what's wrong with a guy showing compassion or believing in angels or I'm sure when the guy was a kid, he believed in Santa Claus, so why not believe in angels?
Absolutely, I agree with you. And I think that most women today look for men or, would like to find a man that is even somewhat open to, spirituality, angels, call it miracles, magic, or, that there's something greater than us, because a lot of men are, intellectual, they're in their mind. If they can't see it, they won't believe it, if it's not concrete. And some of them have to hit a wall or live something really difficult before they stop and, pray to something or think about the fact that there might be something greater than them. And that's unfortunate.
It truly is. It truly is. Now, as a medium and an angel reader, are they one and the same, or when you're doing your communicating as a medium, do the angels help you, or do they stay away from that part of the help that you supply people?
No, they do help me. For example, I did a reading just yesterday, and it was a young woman that passed away. She was 17.
Wow.
And it was heartbreaking because she had a heart transplant exactly a year ago, and on Christmas Day.
Oh gosh.
And this year she died just before Christmas, and her mother was devastated. So it was very difficult. And so I did this reading for her mother. And so she came through, bringing her messages. But the angels were also there guiding her, giving her strength, and bringing messages as well. Because in a situation like that, which I found really interesting, is, this young girl, like, for example, she's only 17. She just passed away a month ago. She doesn't have all the knowledge, the wisdom, to be able to really help her mother get through the grief, the grieving process. So that's why the angels came in and supported her and me to bring the appropriate messages that her mother needed to help her, live through this process of grieving. So I found that fascinating. So, yeah, the angels do come in.
Now, using the example of the listener who bought the book, who was an atheist, how does one's religious beliefs work with angels? If somebody is involved with a religious philosophy that does not include angels, and I really don't know if there are any, but let's say there is. Would the angels still help them if they ask for his help, their help?
Absolutely. The angels are always with us, whether we believe or not, and they can only help us if we ask, because we have free will. And that's sad in a way sometimes, because sometimes we have to really hit our head hard before we ask for help. But yeah, the angels can't really help us unless we ask.
So what about a guardian angel?
Yes, well, in that case, it's different. Like if you're talking about if there was an accident or, if it was something that was dangerous and we were about to have an accident that we don't need to have, or, that we could possibly die, in a car accident or something, like the angels, if it's not our time, they will be there and they will scream in our ears and tell us to stop or turn or something to shake us up and wake us up out of that situation.
How many different types of angels are there?
That's an excellent question. There are many different types of angels. I mean, there's archangels and thrones, and I can't even name them all out to you because it's not exactly what I study. I'm more focused in generally to help people connect with their angels or guides or whatever they want to call it.
Right.
To me, that's more important than putting a name on it.
Well, don't angels, the different angel categories, for example, guardian angels, archangels, cherubims, don't they each have different jobs?
They do. They do have different jobs. And the ones that I work with mostly is like our personal guardian angels,
Right.
the ones that are with us, that are bringing us messages and guiding us on our path.
Right.
And the archangels. So when I do a reading, for example, it's always the archangels that come in.
I see.
Because, for example, Raphael will always tell me in the beginning what's going on physically with a person. Because whatever's going on in our body is a very big indication of what we need to work on. And so we always start with that part of the body. So say, for example, if I was doing a reading with you and I was getting that, you have some pressure around your heart, or, I feel headaches, the angels will be telling me, well, it's because you're breaking your head about something. Instead of asking them for guidance, you're trying to figure it out in your head, and you're giving yourself a headache by doing that. And a lot of people do that. And, and if I get feelings about a heart chakra, for example, sometimes it's people that are not open to love, or they have things on their chest that they're not getting off. They have anger or unforgiveness. And those are the things that are blocking us from being everything or everyone we're meant to be.
All right, stand by, my dear. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Exo Nation, Lucinda Gabriel is our guest. Her website is lucindagabriel.com. And we're talking about angels this hour and about Lucinda's new book that's out in English, How to Talk to Angels. It's available on Amazon.com, and we'll be back on the other side of this break, so don't go away.
From our broadcast studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, to the world and beyond, you're watching the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
AVS Media Demo.
The scientist and the mystic have been on an age-old, relentless search with one thing in common. They seek truth. Their paths converge in the 40,000-year-old practice of shamanism, an ancient science delving to the quantum level of life, facilitating healing, manifestation, and evolution. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka, the founder and director of Path Home Shamanic Arts School, a unique Colorado State-certified occupational school, training shamanic practitioners and teachers. We also provide classes for empowering personal lives through shamanism. Our certification classes are in week-long segments enabling international participation, and online classes and long-distance shamanic healing sessions are available. Come discover the science of magic in the limitless world of shamanism. www.findyourpathhome.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is.
For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
Exonation Lucinda Gabriel is our special guest. Her website is lucindagabriela.com. That's LucindaGabriel.com. Where do angels come from?
Where do angels come from?
Yeah.
Well, that's an excellent question, too. Like I was saying, angels are from God.
Right.
They're like an energy, because everything is energy, really. Mm-hmm. God is an energy, we are an energy, and the angels are an energy, and it's just a different vibration level. So we're all on different vibrational levels, and so that's what angels are. They're light, they're love, they're vibration, and they're just on this vibration which is higher than ours, and which is more light and more love.
What is the difference between an angel and a spirit guide?
Well, an angel has never lived on earth before, and a spirit guide has. And I discovered while doing readings, when I first started doing them about 15 years ago, the impression that I had was that angels are often like a feminine energy. So it's the feminine part of who we are. So the qualities that the angels has, so my angel has certain qualities, and it's the same qualities that I have, or if I don't have them, I'm meant to develop them, and that's why my angel is with me. And the guide is our masculine side. So whether it's a male or a female, they're always bringing us qualities like strength and perseverance, courage, and so persistence. So those kinds of qualities that are masculine, and in order to develop those qualities, we have to live on earth. And that's what I found fascinating, is that's why the guide has come to earth, because it's a person that lived here and that lived certain things similar to us, developed these qualities, and when they crossed over to the other side, they decided to help somebody else develop those qualities. So that's the way I perceive them.
Okay, so let's say the 17-year-old young lady who unfortunately passed away, and I can't imagine the pain and the sorrow that the mother is going through, especially at Christmas time. God bless her. I'm glad the angels are with her and that they can give her as much comfort as they can in her time of grief. Is there any chance that this young lady of 17 can become an angel?
Well, that I don't know. I have to be honest with you. Are we all going to become angels one day? I know that she's going to work as a guide, right, in the sense that often when I meet deceased people on the other side, they tell me what they're going to do. And what was supposed to be comforting for her mother was that I was getting the message from the angels and God saying that the reason why she had to leave is because she had a greater purpose on the other side. And her purpose is going to be to welcome, the children that are her age, that are living through similar illnesses. Accept that whenever they cross over. So I always find that fascinating, that when the children cross over, or anybody crosses over, actually, there's always a role for us to work on the other side and to help other people that are crossing over from similar situations.
When you've been speaking to people about angels, whether you're out doing your books or meeting people, doing expositions or lectures and seminars, what type of questions do you usually get from the public?
Well, a lot of the same questions that you were asking me, are they really with me? Are they really listening? And the biggest part, people tell me like, oh, I prayed and I don't get any answers, or, like they feel like they're not getting the answers that they're looking for. But what I've come to realize too, and what the angels tell me, is that everything in our lives are speaking to us. It's impossible not to have a message. If you walk down the street and you see a sign, it's probably speaking to you. There's probably something about that sign. If you see a license plate with something written on it,
right,
there's a message on that. And if you bump into someone and you talk to them, they probably have a message for you. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is speaking to us constantly.
Do angels come to us in our dreams as well?
They do come to us in our dreams, and it depends on the people. Like some people have, many dreams about angels, but they can come to us through our dreams as well.
How about we imagine angels as being these beautiful creatures, humanoids, with these beautiful wings. And have you spoken to people who have seen angels? And if they have, what is the description of the angels that they've given you?
Well, it's exactly like you said. There's different sizes. There's some that are larger, taller than others. And, they see the angel wings. And, if we all did that, if we just closed our eyes and we just asked our angels to present themselves to us, and if we could just let go of, get our mind out of the way for a second and just allow an image to come into our mind, and, our ego is going to cry out and say, that's your imagination.
Right.
Well, yes, our imagination is what I call, our FaceTime, our Skype with, the other world, the other side. So if we just allow it to come in, we'll see exactly what they look like. And whatever shows up in our imagination is exactly what they are.
Exonation, Lucinda Gabriel is my guest this hour. Her website is www.lucindagabriel.com. And she is the author of How to Talk to Angels. It's available now, I believe, in Amazon.com. at Barnes & Nobles and Chapters and To Go and all fine bookstores. What was your inspiration for writing How to Talk to Angels? Was it an angel that gave you the inspiration?
Well, I knew, like in my early 20s, that I kind of had, like that gut feeling. Yep. I just had this idea one day I was going to write a book. And the book was going to be about the synchronicity, and I was going to call it Grace. And it was going to be something like the grace of God. So anyway, life goes on, and, time, happens. And so when I did sit down to write, it was kind of funny how things happen. I went to Quebec City, and I did a little mini conference, at a friend's house. There was 12 people there. And one of the ladies there, she wrote a book. And so I was, talking about her book. It's like, wow, this is a lovely book. So I showed it to everybody, and 10 people bought her book at my little 12 people conference. And so the next day I was driving home, and I was talking to the angels, and the angels said, well, yes, they would have bought your book too if you would have wrote it by now. And I was like, okay, so what do you want me to write about? And as I asked the question, I was driving down the street on the boulevard, and I passed this church. And the church was called L'Église de Grâce, the Church of Grace. And I knew in that moment what it meant, because I was going to write a book all my life about grace.
Right.
And I finally figured out that, like, grace was the angels. The angels are the grace of God that He's given us. And so I went home, and this was probably Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yes.
And Friday night, anyway, It was 11 o'clock at night, and the angels are screaming at me in my ears. I know they're there. I can feel their energy, and they're saying, just sit down, just do it, just sit down, just do it. And so that's what I did. That's how it started.
Truly fascinating. And the rest is history, as they say.
Yes. And I was so well guided because I never would have imagined that, I didn't even think about getting a publisher. I was going to self-publish. And, a couple of months later into the book, on another Friday night, the angels are saying, you're going to Quebec City. You have to meet this publisher. And so I just got a really strong, anxious feeling that I needed to sit down and write out a letter. So I sat down, and the letter just started coming into my mind. Like I knew what the words were. So I just wrote it all out, and it was like really a kick-ass letter. It was really great. And so the next morning I read it over, and I put in my introduction and my table of contents, and I sent it. And within an hour, it responded, "We're interested. Come see us."
Wow.
So it was magical. And the same thing happened when I found Llewellyn as a publisher in English.
Right.
It was a few years later, and one morning I woke up and I had this really strong feeling that they're saying, today's the day, you got to look for a publisher. And I had been looking every once in a while. So I opened up the computer and I type in spiritual publisher, and Llewellyn just popped up on this list. And when I saw the name, I just felt something like a flutter in my stomach, and I just felt like an excitement. So I just knew, like, okay, it's got to be this company. And so I wrote, my letter, and my proposal was already done months ago. So the following week. All
right, we're going to have another little cliffhanger here because I've got to take my final break. Please stand by, Lucinda. Great talking to you again, and thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join us tonight here on the X Zone. X Zone Nation, I'll be back in a couple of minutes with my guest as we wrap up this hour with Lucinda Gabriel in the X Zone. Don't go away. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com. The new nonfiction book, Razor of Madness, is similar to cult movies like Clockwork Orange, Dragon's Tattoo, or The Other Side of Hell. Wayne Morin Jr. and Thomas Lee Howe will expose widespread and systematic deficiencies in this thought-provoking tell-all novel. Mind control rages among scholars in law schools. Human rights are ignored while thought reform and mental manipulation are accepted practices used as behavior modification. Dr. Louis Jolyon West comes to mind. Media and public scrutiny shows that United States mental hospitals are in fact destructive murder industries. Razor of Madness expose novel details this epidemic through an in-depth professional and personal investigation. For decades there has been a revolving door policy that still releases killers and pedophiles back into society. The maestro of mind control continues to haunt America to this very day. Razor of Madness is available in paperback or as a downloadable ebook at Amazon.com.
I'm William S. Peckham. If you enjoy a good mystery with a touch of the paranormal, then you'll love my novel, From Out of the Woodwork. It's the story of a young Toronto contractor, Sean Kennedy, who buys derelict homes, guts them, and turns them into multifamily dwellings. Slums just waiting to happen. When Sean buys 29 Livery Lane, the house fights back. Former owners unexpectedly come out of the woodwork as he starts the destruction. The apparitions come to him when he touches old books, reads hidden letters, rummages through old boxes. finds a locket or reads a discovered manuscript of a murder mystery. From Out of the Woodwork will take you from 1899 to the horror of the World Trade Center, September 11, 2001. Check out From Out of the Woodwork on my website, www.williamspeckham.com.
My guest this hour is Lucinda Gabriel. Her website is www.lucindagabriel.com. She is a civil engineer by profession, X-Zone Nation, but decided to follow her soul's call to write, teach, and inspire. Now a best-selling author, speaker, and respected medium, she is also a certified Reiki Master. She studied angel therapy with the best-selling author and a former guest of the X-Zone, Doreen Virtue, as well as advanced mediumship with renowned medium Lisa Williams. She has 3 books published in French. Her best-selling book, How to Talk to Angels, has recently been published in English. And How to Talk to Angels can be found on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Chapters, Indigo, and in all fine bookstores. Once again, her website is www.lucindagabriel.com. Lucinda, are the angels asking you to give me any messages?
That's a good question, Rob. Let's see what they might have for you today. I'm getting that you need to take it easy and that you need to have balance in your life and do things that bring you more joy. So, yeah. And sometimes wintertime can be a difficult time, to get out and stuff, but they're really saying that you need to make time, carve out time to do something that's really fun, family oriented, and certainly in nature would be wonderful for you.
Well, that's great. Thank them very much for me.
Mm-hmm.
Is there one specific angel that you find is more popular or that works more with people than any other angel?
I would say that it would have to be Archangel Michael. And, and I tell people if there's one name that you want to remember, It's Michael. Because Michael is the protector for one. So whenever we feel we need to be protected from other people's energies or, if we feel unsafe in any situation, whether it's at home or at work or on the roads, we always call on the Michael to protect us. And Michael is also our main angel for our career and our life's purpose. So whenever we want guidance about that, he's the angel that's there for that as well. Right. So I would say that would be my go-to.
You know how angels are very popular at Christmas time? There's the angels all over the place. You've got an angel on top of the Christmas tree representing the angel Gabriel who came down to talk to Mary about the birth of Christ and so on.
Yes.
And how the angels with the shepherds and so on and so forth. That Christmas spirit that we all get around Christmas, could this be the closeness of humanity to the angelic realm at that time, and what we call Christmas spirit is actually angelic love?
That sounds very, very right. And, it's a time of year, yes, where we're encouraged to, I think, sense the angels, but also to bring in, the message of Jesus, which is, to love one another and to care for one another. And so it's a time of year where, the angels bring in all that love. So, it's too bad that Christmas is not more all year round.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It lasts a couple of weeks, and then we go back to work and we forget about it.
Can you imagine what a great world this would be if we could just keep that Christmas spirit going all year long?
It's exactly that. That's exactly that. And that's what I try to bring to people. Through my book and through my Facebook pages, I write prayers regularly. Almost every day I'll share a prayer on Facebook to help people connect with the angels and to be in their heart, to be more loving towards themselves and towards others. And, it's just taking those few moments every day, like in the morning
Mm-hmm.
to be grateful and to connect with the angels and God. And at the end of the day, to be grateful again, thanking for the wonderful day we had. And also, one thing that I find that we've kind of lost over the years is just saying grace.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. And, it's one of the things that my friends appreciate about me whenever I have them over for a meal, or if I go their place, sometimes in the restaurant, I'll pray over my food and they're like, oh, well, say it out loud. I want to hear what you're saying. And they really appreciate that. And it just makes every moment special.
It doesn't hurt to say thank you, does it?
No, it certainly doesn't. And the more we're grateful, the more we receive.
Tell me, tell our listeners what your Facebook page is.
Well, if you just look Lucinda, Gabriel, you'll find I have several different pages.
Okay.
I have a personal page, a French page, an English page. I have VIP groups that anybody is welcome to join as well. And so in those groups, like I said, I share daily prayers, and I have a YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. And so once a week I put up a video and with an angel tip. So something, the angels will say to us to help us connect better with them. So It's going to be, for example, pray or meditate, or, how to open our clairs or something like that.
What's the difference between a prayer and meditation? I've never understood that.
Well, a prayer to me is when we have a conversation with God and the angels, and we, let them know what's in our heart, and we let them know what we need. So we're talking with them. Mm-hmm. And meditation is listening. So prayer is talking, meditation is listening. So that's when, and I do this every morning. I'll sit down and I'll thank God and the angels for being in my life, and I'll go through all the things that I'm grateful for. I'll tell them what's in my heart, and what I would like in my life or what I need. And then I'll stop all that, and I'll just start to breathe, and I try to clear my mind and clear, for like 5, 10, 15 minutes. And sometimes I'll have an idea during the meditation, but often it's going to be afterwards. Like I'll get up and I'll have my shower, and as I'm getting out of the shower, ideas will come to me. Well, do this and do that. And, and like I did a video once, a few months ago, which was pretty funny because the angels told me, I was praying, for example, for more abundance, of course we all want more abundance. We all need more money. And, so when I was asking the angels about it, they said, well, we're giving you more abundance. You're getting an abundance of ideas of how to, make money. Right. So it was kind of funny. Like sometimes when you pray for something, you don't know how it's going to be answered. And often it's work. So,
well, I think no matter what it is in life, you have to work for it, because working for it gives you the satisfaction when you finally get it, that you have achieved this. And it wasn't handed to you on a silver platter, but you had to work, learn. When you fall off a horse, to me, it's, you just get back on the horse and away you go. And a failure, there's no such thing as a failure in life. It's just a lesson.
Yes.
And, I don't know anybody who has been given that silver platter life, who really can understand what life is about and appreciate it. But listen, with everything going on in the world today, how do the number of angels, the archangels, how do they take care of everybody?
Well, they're multidimensional, in the sense that if we all prayed to Michael's energy can be with all of us. And it's the same thing as God's energy, as Jesus' energy. They're not just one person that can only be there for one of us. They're there for all of us. And I believe the angel's energy is even more present than ever before. I feel there is a sense of urgency for people to wake up and to connect with, the loving energy of the angels and, any divine presence that is from God, of course, their guides and stuff, because, things could go wrong, and they probably will. And it's just so much harder when you feel alone.
Listen, we've got about a minute and a half left, and I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I'd also like you to tell our listeners about the courses that you're going to be offering.
Yes, well, I'm going to be doing a free conference, How to Talk to Angels. So it's going to be like an hour conference about my book, and I pretty well go over things that are in there, like how to connect with the angels, how the angels connect with you, what kind of signs can you expect, and how to manifest as well with the angels. So I'm going to go through that in a free conference, and so people can check on my website to see when that's going to be and sign up for that. And then afterwards, I'm going to be offering a 3-hour workshop to really give you tools to help you connect with your own personal angels. And it's a tool that you can use every day. And, you sit down for 10 minutes a day and do this, and you'll be able to connect with them. And and I'm developing other ones. I have another course that I just did in French, which is Manifesting with the Angels, which was absolutely amazing. And so a lot of my courses right now are in French because my biggest following is in French right now. But I am working on translating them in English.
Listen, the time has come when you and I must say so long for now, but I thank you so much for coming on the show. Please come back again and visit us, and keep the wonderful work that you're doing up. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and give our listeners your website address one more time, please.
Yes, my site is lucindagabriel.com. So thank you, Rob, for having me, too. It was really a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. It's like talking to an old friend.
That's what we are, my dear. We're old friends. You take care of yourself, and I look forward to the next time when you visit us back here in the X Zone.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye, Lucinda. X Zone Nation, Lucinda Gabriel has been our guest, www.lucindagabriel.com. Her books are available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other retailers online and offline. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news at 6.5 minutes past the top of the hour as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name is Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Are you or is someone you know struggling with addictions, depression, anxiety, relationships, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, grief, success, and prosperity? Do you know that your subconscious belief plays a big role in the outcome of your hard work? We can help you permanently change the beliefs that may be the reason for your struggles and failures. We care about getting you the return on your investment and the results you are looking for. We can help you be free of the limitations of your past and in realizing your highest potential. We work with people by phone and Skype. For more information, visit us at www.ritasoman.com. That's www.ritasoman.com. Do you think you have energy problems in your home? Do you feel better when you're away than when you're home? Joey Korn is a global leader in the world of dowsing who specializes in personal energy clearing and space clearing. He can help you create an ideal energy environment in your home no matter where you live in the world. Learn about his remote spiritual house cleaning services and much more at www.dowsers.com. You can get Joey's book, Dowsing, A Path to Enlightenment, as well as other dowsing books and tools, Kabbalah books, and Walter Russell books. Joey's work is really amazing. Go to dowsers.com right now. That's DOWSERS.com, or call 1-877-DOWSING. That's 1-877-369-7464.